Welcome to the deep dive. We're here again to plunge into some really fascinating sources and pull out the key insights for you.
That's the plan.
And today, we're tackling a huge question, one that people have wrestled with forever, really. What makes someone good or bad?
Right, a fundamental one.
Exactly. And we've got these ancient texts that offer a surprisingly practical and nuanced take on conduct, character, and importantly, their impact.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to explore this fourfold way they categorize people and actions from simply not good to better than good.
And worse than not good, too.
Right. And crucially, how these actions ripple outwards, affecting individuals, communities, the whole picture.
Absolutely. Our mission here is to extract those critical insights. We want you to understand not just definitions, but the real consequences.
And how to actually cultivate positive qualities.
Yes, the pathways to doing that. And there are some surprising bits in there about influence and what real moral progress looks like.
Okay, great. Let's unpack this then. These sources start with a basic distinction.
Yeah.
The asappurisa, or not good person, and the sappurisa, the good person. What are the sort of defining characteristics here?
Well, at the most basic level, the not good person is defined by doing 5 specific things.
Okay.
Taking life, taking what's not given, stealing, basically sexual misconduct, false speech like lying, and using intoxicants that make you heedless, careless.
Got it. 5 key actions. So the good person is just the opposite.
Pretty much. The sappurisa, the good person, is fundamentally someone who abstains from those 5 things. Consistently, it's about their actual conduct.
Right. But you hinted it gets more interesting. The texts don't just stop at good and not good. They talk about worse than not good and better than good. What's the shift there? What makes someone worse?
Yeah. This is where that idea of influence, the multiplier effect, really comes in. It's crucial.
Multiplier effect.
Exactly. Someone who is worse than not good isn't just, say, taking life or stealing themselves. The key is they also encourage other people to do the same things. They're actively spreading the negativity.
I see. So they're like a source of corruption, almost.
You could put it that way. They amplify the harm, and conversely, the better than good person.
Let me guess. They encourage others to be good.
Precisely. They don't just abstain themselves. They actively encourage and inspire others to abstain, too. Their positive influence ripples outwards.
Wow. So it challenges that idea of just focusing on your own virtue in isolation.
Absolutely. It suggests that true moral progress is kind of inherently communal. Our own actions are just the start.
That's a powerful idea. The ripple effect is built right in. But okay, these texts go deeper than just those 5 actions, right? They look at mindset, speech, other traits.
Oh, definitely. They provide a lot more detail. And that self plus others multiplier pops up again when it comes to mindset and character.
Yeah.
Well, the negative side includes being faithless, shameless, lacking moral shame, that is unafraid of wrongdoing, having little learning, being lazy, forgetful, unwise, those sorts of qualities.
And the positive side.
Possessing faith, moral shame, moral dread, that healthy fear of wrongdoing being learned, having vigorous effort, mindfulness, wisdom. The opposites, essentially.
And what about how they talk? Their speech and communication. I remember you saying that was quite specific.
Extremely specific. Negatively, you have things like divisive speech, trying to split people up, harsh speech, and just idle chatter, pointless talk.
Okay.
Positively, truthful speech, obviously, non-divisive speech, gentle speech, and moderate speech. Not talking excessively.
They even define dishonest communications.
Yes.
Right. Like claiming things you didn't actually see or hear.
Exactly. They call them ignoble modes of speech. Claiming you saw what you didn't, heard what you didn't, sensed what you didn't, knew what you didn't.
And the reverse, too, presumably. Claiming you didn't see something you actually did.
Yes, that too. And the noble modes are the opposite, being honest about what you have and haven't experienced. Admitting you didn't see it if you didn't, admitting you did if you did. It shows how much weight they put on truthful, accurate communication.
Really highlights integrity. What about the internal stuff? The mental states?
Yeah. Internally, the negative traits are things like being covetous, greedy for what others have, being ill-willed, malicious, basically, and holding wrong views about reality.
And the positive?
Non-covetousness, non-ill will, and holding right views. That internal alignment is seen as fundamental.
And this all leads up to a kind of path of practice, right? A right path versus a wrong path.
Yes, that's the sort of culmination. It looks at whether someone engages in or abstains from the elements of the right path, like Right view, right intention, right speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, concentration.
The classic eightfold path components.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Versus the wrong path counterparts. And they even extend it to right or wrong knowledge and right or wrong liberation. It's a really comprehensive view of a person's development.
This detailed understanding of actions, influence, and now these paths, it seems to lead straight into the idea of karma.
It does.
Our sources lay out 4 really specific types of karma, each with a distinct result. It's like their system of cause and effect. Can you walk us through those 4?
Absolutely. The texts call this the kamma vago, the section on karma. So first you have black karma with a black result.
Sounds ominous.
It is.
Yeah.
These are actions that are purely harmful, afflictive, and the result, purely painful experiences. The texts often liken it to the suffering of beings in hell realms.
Wow. Any specific examples?
Yeah, they mention harmful actions of body, speech, or mind, but also more extreme things like killing a parent, killing an arahant, a fully enlightened being, wounding a Buddha, or causing a schism, a split in the spiritual community. Really serious stuff.
Okay, direct harm, direct pain. What's the polar opposite?
That would be white karma with a white result. These are actions that are blameless, non-afflictive, wholesome actions.
And the result?
Purely pleasant, purely pleasurable experiences, like the state of certain deities or heavenly beings. Examples include abstaining from those 10 unwholesome actions we touched on, the 5+ things like divisive speech, harsh speech, idle chatter, covetousness, ill will, wrong view, basically cultivating positive actions.
Right. So black karma, white karma. What about the messy middle? Most of life feels like a mix.
And the texts account for that. That's the third type, black and white karma with a mixed result.
Makes sense.
These are actions that blend harmful and non-harmful elements. Maybe the intention was mixed, or the action itself had both positive and negative aspects.
And the outcome?
A mix of pleasure and pain in the result. This is described as the typical experience of humans, actually, and some other beings too. It reflects that complexity of our actions and intentions.
Okay, so painful, pleasurable, mixed.
Yeah.
What's the fourth one? There's one more, right?
Yes, and this one is really key. It's neither black nor white karma, leading to the cessation of karma.
Cessation, so stopping karma altogether?
Exactly. This is the path to ultimate liberation, escaping the whole cycle of action and result.
How does that work? Is it just not doing anything?
No, that's the fascinating part. It's not about inaction. It's about the intention. Specifically, the intention to abandon the other kinds of karma, the black, the white, and the mixed.
So it's an active mental state.
Very active. It's a conscious choice, a volition, aimed at ending the cycle itself. The sources say this is cultivated through practices like the Noble Eightfold Path, right view, right mindfulness, and so on, and also the 7 factors of awakening, like effort, investigation, equanimity. It's about actively developing the mind towards liberation.
That's profound. Acting with the specific aim of ending the results, not just getting good ones.
Precisely. It's a shift in the fundamental goal.
And these ideas about karma and conduct, they don't just apply to individuals, do they? The texts talk about groups, communities, corrupters and beautifiers of an assembly.
Yes, they extend the principles to the collective, an assembly, like a spiritual community or any group, really.
So who are the corrupters?
The definition is pretty straightforward. They're individuals in the group, monks, nuns, lay people who are immoral, who practice unwholesome deeds. Their actions and presence drag the group down, undermine its integrity.
And the beautifiers?
The opposite. Virtuous individuals practicing wholesome deeds, they uplift the community, strengthen it, provide a positive example. They're a unifying, positive force.
It makes sense, but the sources also get into something darker, more specific.
Yeah.
Why someone, like a bad monk, might want to cause a division, a schism. What are those motives? They seemed quite revealing.
They are quite revealing about human psychology, I think. The texts list 4 specific reasons.
Okay.
First, someone might try to cause a split to avoid being kicked out for being immoral or having bad conduct.
Self-preservation.
Exactly. Second, they might do it to avoid expulsion for holding wrong views, doctrines considered incorrect.
Okay, ideological reasons too.
Third, similar to the first, to avoid expulsion for wrong livelihood, making a living in unethical ways. And the fourth one is maybe the most cynical. It's about seeking personal gain, honor, or respect from a smaller faction they create because they know they won't get it from the unified, larger community that might censure them.
Wow. So power, status, avoiding consequences. It's a pretty stark look at motivations.
It really is. It shows how personal ambition or fear can override the well-being of the whole group.
And the texts use some really strong analogies to show how seriously they viewed different moral failings, right? Can you share some of those? They sounded quite vivid.
They are very vivid, designed to make an impact. For the most serious offense, one leading to expulsion called paṇḍita, the comparison is stark.
Which is?
It's compared to a criminal being caught and executed by the king's order, specifically by having their head cut off. Irreversible, final.
Yikes. Okay, that's serious. What about lesser offenses?
For asappurisa, which is serious but requires community reconciliation, not permanent expulsion, the analogy is someone being publicly shamed by having a heavy pestle placed on their shoulder. It's a visible burden, humiliation.
Still pretty heavy.
Definitely. Then there's paṇḍita, an offense needing expiation. That's compared to someone publicly shamed carrying a heavy bag or basket. Still public, still a burden, but maybe less intensely degrading than the pestle.
Okay.
And finally, paṇḍita, an offense needing confession, is just compared to someone being publicly shamed in a general way. So there's a clear scale of severity mirrored in the intensity of the public consequence or shame.
Those analogies really drive home how embedded individual conduct is within the community's view and, well, its judgment.
Absolutely. There's no sense of purely private morality here. Actions have public and communal weight.
So given all this, the conduct, the consequences, the community aspect, how do these sources guide someone towards, real personal growth, toward liberation? What does that path actually look like?
Well, they outline a path that's both progressive and quite holistic. They talk about the nature of spiritual practice itself, the brahmacharya.
And what's its nature?
It's described as having the benefit of training. It requires discipline. It's supreme in wisdom. That's a key goal. Its essence is liberation. That's the ultimate aim. And it has mindfulness as its master awareness is crucial throughout.
A clear framework. And they mention stages of attainment.
Yes, the stages of spiritual attainment, often called the four samantas or spiritual practitioners. You start as a stream enterer.
Meaning?
Someone who's broken the first few mental fetters, the biggest obstacles, and is now guaranteed to reach enlightenment eventually. They've entered the stream, so to speak.
Okay, that's the first step.
Then there's the once returner. They've weakened greed, hatred, and delusion significantly and will only be reborn in this world one more time before liberation.
Getting closer.
Next, the non-returner. They've eliminated the lower fetters completely and won't be reborn in this world again. They'll attain final nibbana, final liberation from a higher realm.
And the final stage.
The arahant. This is someone who has completely eradicated all defilements, all mental pollutants, and has achieved full liberation in this very life. The end of the path.
A clear progression. What about practical steps for someone starting out wanting to grow in wisdom?
The texts list 4 things considered very helpful to humans as practical steps.
What are they?
First, associating with good people, sappurisa savo. Surrounding yourself with positive influences.
Makes sense.
Second, hearing the good teaching sadhamasavan. Listening to and learning the wisdom. Third, proper attention, yoniso manasakaro. Paying wise attention to your own mind, to reality.
Okay.
And fourth, practicing according to the teaching Dhammanupadipati, actually putting it into practice. It's a feedback loop. Good company, good teaching, wise attention, actual practice.
Seems very grounded. And they use an analogy for an ideal practitioner, something about a horse.
Yes, the noble steed analogy. They compare an exemplary monk, someone worthy of respect, to a king's finest horse possessing 4 qualities.
Which are?
Appearance, which here means being virtuous, having good conduct. Strength, meaning persistent effort in cultivating good qualities and abandoning bad ones. Speed, which refers to profound wisdom, understanding suffering and the path, or achieving liberation quickly. And stature, which, interestingly, refers to gaining the necessary material requisites, like robes and food, to support the practice. So it covers virtue, effort, wisdom, and even the practical means.
That's a great analogy, covers all the bases.
Yeah.
Now, something really unusual you mentioned was how they even categorize types of sleep. What's that about?
It is unusual, and it speaks volumes about their view of continuous awareness. They list 4 ways of sleeping, relating them to different states of being.
Go on.
Okay, so ghost-like sleep is lying flat on your back. Sensualist sleep is lying on your left side.
Okay.
Then there's the lion sleep. This is lying on the right side, 1 foot over the other, consciously arranging the body, almost like a lion tucks its tail. The key is waking up mindfully, checking the body. It signifies awareness even in rest.
The lion sleep. I like that. And the 4th.
The Tathagata's sleep. This isn't really sleep as we know it. It refers to a Buddha or highly realized being entering deep meditative states, the jhanas, while appearing to rest. They remain fully aware.
Wow. So even sleep is a domain for practice and awareness.
Exactly. It suggests that mastery and mindfulness should permeate every aspect of life, even rest.
Incredible. So pulling it all together, what's
Like,
the ultimate goal? The noble quest they talk about.
the noble quest is defined very clearly. It's the search for that which is beyond suffering, the unaging, unsick, undying, undefiled, supreme security of nibbana, ultimate liberation.
And this is contrasted with.
The ignoble quest, which is seeking things that are inherently subject to aging, sickness, death, defilement, worldly pleasures, status, possessions, things that ultimately lead back to suffering because they're impermanent.
A very clear distinction in purpose.
Yeah.
And finally, on a practical societal level, did the sources offer principles for community harmony or even family well-being?
They did. For community harmony, they list 4 bases of sympathy:
Which are
giving or generosity, kindly speech, beneficial conduct, acting for others' welfare, and impartiality, or treating everyone fairly. These 4 are seen as the glue holding a community together positively.
simple but powerful. And for families,
For family prosperity, they list 4 practical things: actively seeking wealth that's been lost, repairing things that are old or broken rather than just discarding them, practicing moderation in spending and consumption, and crucially, appointing virtuous, capable people, men or women, to positions of authority within the family or household.
interesting, very pragmatic.
Yes, and they state that doing the opposite, not seeking lost wealth, not repairing things, being extravagant, appointing immoral people, leads directly to the family's decline. Very practical advice for thriving collectively.
What an absolutely fascinating journey through these texts. We've really seen how deeply woven together individual actions influence community well-being and this path to liberation are. It's not just about you, it's about the whole web.
Exactly. That interconnectedness is maybe the strongest theme. And for me, the most compelling point is how that highest form of good isn't just about perfecting your own conduct in isolation.
Right.
It's about your ability, your capacity to actually inspire and help guide others along that same path towards wisdom and freedom.
Yeah.
Our actions, they aren't just single points. They cast these long shadows or they light up broad pathways for others.
That really resonates. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to reflect on, a provocative thought drawn right from these sources. That ultimate path, the one leading to the end of karma's cycle, isn't described as good karma or bad karma, but as the conscious intention to abandon all other forms of karma.
Yeah.
So what does it truly mean to act? Not just to get good results, but with the deliberate aim of ending the entire cycle of results. How might thinking about that intention change the way you approach the decisions you make every day?
Something to chew on.
Definitely. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep making those ripples count.